our web application with the CRUD UI for the topics and quizzes, so we can do admin tasks with them. We are going to start with the topic editor component, which will serve as the form to help visualize the topic information for creation and edition. We have a wizard which we can use to create the forms from a given data type. So first we will delete the label, the usual one, and create a container, and I'm going to add large top padding. Now select the magic wand on the container and use the build edit form option. And here we can select the data type, which we are going to use topic. And in the next screen we will have a variable name where the model will be stored on the component and the fields of our selected data type that we want in the form. Since the property types are explicit in Blazedpath, we can select different options related to our properties, such as numeric, text, or combo boxes. Let's go with a text box field for the name field. And just like other wizards, we are going to leave the options unmarked. Now let's see what the wizard has done. If we go onto the logic tab, we can see that a variable with name instance of type topic was created on the model. That's the one the wizard did. And in the design view, we can see that a text box was created. And if we click on it, we can see the bindings, the code instance.name. And thanks to that binding, we can send and receive the values of the form through the instance model. And make sure that this field is marked as mandatory. Now let's continue with the design view of the topics admin. This one will have a similar layout to the one with named CMP list quizzes games. That's meaning we will have an icon on a container and a grid with the info on the other container. Since the process is the same, we are going to do the same steps. So to go quickly, in the root container, we are going to add the large vertical separations between elements, establish a large padding on the top left and right. Just click on the first container and add a rounded border. Then add an icon. It's going to be the topic.svg. And we are going to name the icon main, and we are going to set size extra large and a large padding on the top and the left. Then add a label title with the text topic administration, set it in bold, size large, and large left padding. Use the dock on previous option on the label so it sticks to the icon. And now click on the second container and add a rounded shadowy border. And now to add a grid on this container, we're going to name it grid topics and with a large top and left and right padding. Now let's continue to configure the grid using the same two wizards we used with the list quizzes games. So go here, start configuration, assign the topic type to the grid, and show both columns. Next, populate from a microservice wizard to load the registers. We choose the microservice function that returns the topics list, and since it's not going to be very long, we will not use any kind of filters. Now reduce the grid size to 4 out of 12, since the grid won't take much space. Now let's add an action to add a topic, and the action is going to be associated with the grid, and it's going to be defined on the details section under actions. Click on the action button, and that's this little plus sign here, and now edit the options for the action we created. It's important that we use a key so that the event is associated through something on the logic tab, and we are going to use add as the key. Now use an icon, write add.svg, and the text is going to read add topic. And you can already see the button on the design tab preview to add a new topic. Now onto the edit and remove options. These actions are going to be associated to registers. So these actions will serve to edit a topic, and the other one is going to remove it altogether from the grid. So go to the details section, and these actions are going to be under record actions. So we click on the plus sign and then we edit the options. Type in the key, edit, and the icon is going to be edit.svg and the text edit. Now we're going to do the same thing for the remove action. And as you can see, these actions are already appearing on our design preview, but these ones are going to be next to each register. Now let's take care of the logic. We're going to start off with the add topic action. So we go to the logic tab, and on the events, we right click and search for the grid topics _ handler action _ add event. We grab the open blocky that will handle the form screen. We add an icon, add.svg. We use a title, add new topic. And for the component of the form, it's going to be CmpTopicsEditor, which is the one we just created a few minutes ago. This component won't need any starting model since it's going to be a new register and the data is going to be on the form itself. We select the window mode, small size, and the OK and cancel buttons. If we mouse over the open blocky, we can extend it with on OK and on cancel events for the open. We're going to create an on OK extension that will take a parameter. This is going to be the model with all the information from the model of the CmpTopicsEditor component, meaning we are going to have an instance property with the bindings that we have defined there. So we're going to create a variable that will store the model and another that will store the new topic to create on the microservice. We store it using the set blocky. So we're going to have new topic equals model edited.instance, and with an execute blocky, we are going to call the microservice to create the topic. And once it's created, we are going to refresh the grid to show the updated list. So we use a refresh blocky on the grid, and this blocky will end up calling the _load records for the grid. And finally, we use a close current blocky to close the opened window. Now for some testings, we are going to test the add button we just did. We run the application and we see that the grid is filling correctly. We click on the add topic. We can see the window. We click on the OK, and we get that the field is required, just as we configured. Now we write new topic as the name and click on OK. We can see that the grid is refreshed with the new topic and that the window has been closed. Everything seems to be working as intended. Now for the implementation of the topic edit, I'm going to go back to the suite, and on the logic tab of our component, we are going to right click on the events and search for the grid topics _edit. The implementation is similar to the ones we just did. The one from the add, we're going to copy the code and do some quick fixes. The main difference is going to be that we, instead of passing an empty model, we need to send the current topic so it can be edited. And this is going to be next to a record on the grid. And we are going to read and pass the record to the form onto the start model of the form. So let's now rename new topic to topic. And instead of calling create topic, we're going to update an existing one. So instead, we're going to call update topic with the topic ID as the first parameter and the updated fields that come from the topic editor component. Now, how do we load the records we selected from the grid? That's what the record ref parameter is for. This code is the Blazedpath reference to extract the whole object from a grid. And to load it, we use the read record blocky, selecting our grid, and we are going to pass on the record ref variable. This is going to return the object we selected. Once we have it on our topic variable, we are going to pass it over as the starting model of the form, and we're going to use the following syntax, which is basically curly brackets, property instance, double colon, and topic, closing curly braces. Now let's do some quick testings for the edit form. So as usual, run the application. Now go to the TopicsAdmin and click on the record action edit. You can see the opened window with our title icon and the register we sent through the start model. So let's do a quick edit, click on OK, and we can see the grid refreshing and the new value of the edited register. We can also see that if we leave the field empty, we're going to have the required field alert. And if we click on cancel, we don't see any update on the grid. Now for our final action, the remove. Let's go to the events and again on the logic tab, right click, look for the grid topics, handle record action, remove event. And just like the edit, we're going to read the record using the read record blocky with the record ref parameter. Use a topic variable to store the register and show a confirmation message with the confirm message blocky to make sure the user is okay with the removal. And if they click on yes, we use a on yes sub blocky. We're going to make a microservice call to remove the topic using the delete topic endpoint of the microservice. And finally, we do a grid refresh. And now we are going to test the action. We run the solution and remove the sport topic. We get the confirmation message. First click on no, so nothing happens. Then click on yes, and you can see that the grid refresh without the sport register on the grid. Now we're going to focus our attention on the quiz editor form. So this process is going to be pretty much the same as the topic editor using the wizard. We select the data type and then create the form to create and edit the quizzes. So open the CMP quiz editor, delete the initial label, and then we create a container, apply the wizard with the quiz data type. We're going to omit the quiz ID and mark topic ID and correct answer as combo boxes. We click on next and then finalize. So now let's do some formatting of the form. We're going to move the topics to the bottom, and for the answers we correct answer and topic. We select size 6 out of 12 and we set all fields as mandatory. And lastly, we change combo boxes to key value data formats. As for the logic, we just need to load and fill the combo boxes with the available options in the main init event. The topic lists is going to be loaded by calling the microservice and use the load blocky to fill the combo box, mapping the answer to a list of pair or tuples. The correct answers, we are just going to make a list of key value pairs. Just like we did on other examples, we're going to add filters for the quizzes grid. So we are going to make one for the topic name, one for the question, and another one for the answers. So we just need to edit the microservice function and add set filters as string on the argument list quizzes data type. Since we want to get the topic information from the quiz, we are going to use a transformation that we are going to call transformation quiz with topic. We select quiz database type on the source and the quiz data type from the microservice as the target, and we are going to map the individual properties. Now we need to adapt the quiz API to use the transformation. First, call the transform function with the transformation quiz with topic element. Now for the ordering, we're going to be using disk of descending by quiz ID. And finally, we have the filters on the three fields: topic name, question, and answer. This one will require to go through the routing and bind the filter variables to the parameter. So we add the filter inside the query, and just like we did before, using the RDS-like function. So create the filter by topic name, create the filter by question, and the filter for the answers, we need to look on at least one of the quiz's answers. Now for the design of the quiz admin page, this one will have a similar layout for the list quizzes games and the topics admin component. That means an icon, a title, and a grid. So let's quickly build the same layout. In the root container, we add a large vertical separation, a large top, left, and right padding. We select first container and mark rounded border. As for the icon, we name it icon main. The file is quizedit.svg, size extra large, and large top, bottom, and left padding. For the label, we're going to name it label title. The text is going to be quizzes administration in bold, large size, large left padding, and use the dock to previous so it latches onto the icon. Now select the second container and use a rounded border with shadows. And next we add a grid to the container, name it grid quizzes, and use a large top, left, and right padding. As for the grid, we are going to build it with the two wizards, just like we did with the topics admin. So we go wizard, start configuration, and assign the quiz data type for the grid, and show the following columns: quiz ID, questions, answers, correct answer, and topic name. Now for the second wizard, we are going to populate it from a microservice and load the registers. We're going to choose the microservice function with the quizzes list, and the filtering options will be quiz ID, topic name, question, and answer. Now, just like we did with the topics, we're going to create an action to add a quiz, and we are going to also do the edit and remove record actions in the same step. Now, to implement the logic on these three actions, we are going to pretty much repeat the same step as with the topics. Starting with the add, we're going to create the event, Grid quizzes, handler action, add. We add the open block key. We open the CMP quiz editor component. We use a starting model, an empty starting model. Select window mode, default size, and choose the on OK buttons options. Then we extend with the on OK sub block key, read the model from the editor, create a variable to store the received model from the editor and call it new quiz. We call the create quiz API from the microservice with the new object stored in the new quiz. Then we refresh the grid and then close the currently opened window. Now for the edit record function, we are going to copy and paste the add since it's very similar. And we are going to rename new quiz to quiz. We change the icon, the title, and send the record information to the starting model. Instead of calling the create quiz, we are going to call the update quiz with the quiz ID as the first parameter. And finally, the remove action. This one will just remove the entry from the table. First, we're going to read the record with the read record block key with the record ref parameter. Show a confirmation message, and if the user clicks on yes, we will execute the delete quiz API from the microservice with the quiz ID as the reference. And lastly, we are going to refresh the grid to show the updated list. Now that we have all the functionality implemented, we're going to do an integration test. So we run the solution, go to the quizzes admin, and we can see all the 250 quizzes ordered with the descending option. Now let's try the pagination. Next, testing the filters. Filter by quiz ID 25. Filter by topic name science. And we can see the filtered grid. Filter by question of type red, so that we get all the questions that have red on the string itself. Notice the credited word in there. Then filter by the answers, any of the four. Try different criteria. Let's say answer equals red. We see topic is entertainment, track question. As you can see, the filtering here is working pretty much fine. Now for the edition, we change all the fields to see if they are being updated. Now delete the quiz altogether. First, let's try the confirmation with the no, and we can see the register are still there. Then we do a yes on the confirmation and we can no longer see it. Finally, let's add a new quiz. And now that the quiz is created, let's update the quiz with a new topic called new topic, so we can validate that both of these components are working. Finally, let's do an aesthetic change. We're going to center the columns of the grid. Now let's see the modifications with all the results in the grid properly centered.